Hello, welcome back to another Hearthstone video. So this is how to level up with Rogue in Standard. So there's a lot of decks that are kind of similar to this. I wanted to kind of mix together sort of the jackpot with the contraband stash and test sort of deck, and I wanted to mix that together with pirates basically. And this is what I came up with in the end. So there's quite a lot of draw and stuff. So you can see we've got draw here. It's actually very useful for draw. And you can sort of see the discover cards such as this and this as pretty good for draw. But the one thing about this deck is you really have to, and obviously there's a lot of good useful dredge things here. This obviously synergizes really well with Finley and stuff like that. You always have to think about what will this card do. You always have to check the word text of whatever spell you're casting or minion you're playing. Normally with the minions, not so important. But if you've got for instance, a life steal or something, normally I'd play something like a life steal. But if it's just deal a certain amount of damage, it's pretty likely that's going to hit your own minions. So you might not want to play that one. But life steal is a bit different, especially if you're against aggro decks. But yeah, and then you can do this. Normally with this one, I just take the highest cost minion because it's normally it's gone quite long at this point in the game. So if you can get, sometimes taking the highest cost minion actually makes quite a big difference. But yeah, there's just a bunch of good things. This is to keep in your early hand, you want something like this. This is obviously pretty useful. You get a good 5 spell with a prep. I could put another prep in there. But the Cutlass is good as well. That would be how I'd swap it around. Like I said, I've sort of messed around with this deck quite a bit. And the thing is, this card does quite a lot of work. Sometimes you can, I think the thing to really get ahead in this sort of deck is to try to do it a bit faster. Otherwise, you might be reliant on something like this or this later on. But if you can do it faster, if you play good cards from other classes quickly, and ones which are not going to affect your board in a negative way, then you're pretty good, right? You just always have to just take a look at the text. Is this dealing damage to, does it say enemy minions, for example, or does it say deal 2 damage to a minion? That's going to affect obviously how it actually copies itself, replays itself rather. But yeah, I mean, so there's just lots of good decks. These obviously count as pirates. We can take a look at the amount of pirates we've got here. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and yeah, and sometimes you can, like I say, you can do a shadow step on one of them. So you could have a couple more, but oh yeah, and of course you get extra ones from this as well. So you can't get it out fairly. You're going to get it out pretty late game, obviously. I mean, if this was a little bit lower. That is quite a high number of pirates. I wonder if they'll change that, if they'll give it that a buff to make it slightly less. Because the effect is good, but it's not really super amazing. So I don't know. It's still cool to play with though. You can obviously combo this. You could potentially do some combos with. I'd normally combo with Bran. This is obviously pretty good. This is pretty good. Dredge combos don't really work. It's just because of the nature of that particular keyword. This is good as well. Just getting in more cards out. I mean, potentially you could swap out Bran for another prep. Probably wouldn't make a huge amount of difference. Like I say, it's a bit of a work in progress. But yeah, lots of cool things that you can do though. So thanks for watching.